guys. Welcome back to Your Mindset, Your Power. This is part 2 of our relationship series. In part 1, we talk about dating, chemistry, and the 4 levels of relationship: admiration, mutual attraction, commitment, and compatibility. So today we're going deeper into levels 3 and 4, commitment and compatibility, because this is where relationships either grow or slowly drift apart. This episode it's about love after the spark, after the butterflies fade, after attraction alone is not enough, after connection asks for intention, honesty, and daily care. We will talk about why so many people stay stuck in limbo, why avoiding honest conversations costs you more later, and what keeps desire and connection alive over time. Because attraction brings people together, but what you do after the spark determines whether love lasts. So if you're dating more seriously, in a committed relationship, or married and wanted to strengthen what you already have, this episode is for you, my friend. So let's get into it. I would like to start with something I see all the time: the place where a lot of relationships quietly get stuck when attraction is not enough. Because a lot of people stay way too long in what feels like a relationship, but is not really one. There is attraction, there is chemistry, there is connection, but there's no clarity. They're stuck in that in between space, hoping it will turn into something real, hoping the other person will eventually commit, hoping time will do the work. But hope is not a strategy. No. And this is where level 3 commitment matters and why clarity can no longer be avoided. Because level 3 is simple, but it's powerful. It's when both people agree, we are in this, we're choosing each other, we are building something on purpose. You can't have a real relationship without mutual commitment. Love needs a container, otherwise it leaks. And here's the part people don't like to hear. You can have a strong relationship without commitment. Yes, you can even have deep feelings without commitment. But without level 3, you don't have a relationship. You have uncertainty. And uncertainty is exhausting. Now, here's where it gets complicated. You can even have commitment without compatibility. And that's where a lot of long-term pain comes from. So let's talk about this level 4. Because we have been sold this idea that love is enough, that love alone conquers all, that if two people love each other deeply, everything else will work out. But that's not true. Love is essential, yes, but it's not sufficient. Compatibility is what allows love to breathe long term. Compatibility doesn't mean you agree on everything. No, my friend, it means you are aligned on the things that truly matter to you: values, kids, faith, how you handle conflict, what respect looks like, how you show love, what you won't tolerate. And here's a real example. Let's say two people are widely attracted. They commit, they love each other, but one wants children deeply and the other doesn't. So they don't talk about it because they're afraid of losing each other. They hope the other will change their mind. They tell themselves, we'll figure it out later. Years pass, attachment grows, life gets more complicated, and now the truth hurts more than it ever had to. That's not because they didn't love each other. It's because they avoided compatibility conversations early and pay for it later with resentment, grief, and lost time. Truth early doesn't ruin relationships, my friend. It protects them. So how do you know if you're compatible? Well, you don't find compatibility by guessing, my friend. You find it by talking, having those hard conversations early enough, not interrogating, not demanding, but with honest questions to find out if there is alignment. Compatibility is not about perfection. It's about asking, is this difference something I can genuinely live with without resentment? Not just tolerate, not just suppress, not just hope will change, but accept, genuinely accept. Or, if not, decide to walk away. And even when commitment and compatibility are present, every relationship eventually enters a new phase. You know that phase when the spark settles? This is where the work deepens, my friend. What happens after the spark settles? Because it will. And that's normal. This is where many people start to worry, thinking something is wrong. But there's nothing wrong. That's when the relationship simply feels different. But you start asking yourself, this doesn't feel like it used to. Maybe we're losing something. But this shift doesn't mean love is fading. It means love is changing. That's it. This is the moment when connection stops being fueled by adrenaline and it starts asking for intention, real intention. And this is where relationships either deepen or drift. And this is where daily life begins to test connection. Because staying connected in a distracted world is so hard, right? Because one of the biggest threats to modern relationships is not lack of love, it's lack of presence. We live in a time where people text more than they talk. They scroll more than they connect, right? They sit next to each other, but aren't really with each other. Connection requires attention, my friend, looking at each other, listening, really listening without distraction, putting the phone down, turning that TV off, making eye contact. Even 10 uninterrupted minutes a day can change a relationship because nothing makes someone feel more invisible than being half listened to, right? And next, let's talk about gratitude, appreciation, and those little things. Because long-term love and connection is not only built in big moments. No, it's built on the smallest ones. Saying thank you when your partner cooks, noticing the coffee they brought you, acknowledging effort, complimenting each other, letting them know they matter. Appreciation is emotional oxygen. Without it, relationships suffocate quietly. And over time, those small moments either stay intentional or slowly get replaced by routine. So let's talk about when routine enters the picture, because this is where many couples start pulling apart from each other. Because the truth is, life gets busy, right? Kids, work, stress, schedules. I get it. We get it, right? But it's important to understand this. Routine is not the enemy. Neglect is. When couples stop investing in each other because we've been together so long, connection slowly fades. Love doesn't stay alive by accident, my friend. It stays alive through attention, through intentionally investing quality time in your partner. That's what keeps a relationship alive and strong. And of course, no relationship grows without tension along the way as well. Do you know those little fights? Yes, because conflict is not the problem. Healthy relationships don't avoid conflict, they repair well. The danger is not the disagreement, it's the silence treatment, the avoidance, the blame, the defensiveness. Conflict handled poorly creates distance, but conflict handled well creates intimacy. Yes, my friend. So use I instead of you. Let the other person know how you feel instead of blaming. Say, I feel hurt instead of you hurt me. Listen before defending. Pause when emotions escalate and come back when calm. Apologize when needed. You guys are not enemies. You're a team. Winning an argument is meaningless if you lose the connection. It's not about winning. It's about repairing instead of falling apart. And when emotional connection is protected, desire has room to stay alive too. Yes, my friend, let's talk about keeping that flame alive. The passion, the desire, the sexual connection over time. Because the truth is, desire evolves, right? After kids, after years together, after life changes. That's normal. But it doesn't have to disappear. Couples I know and coach who have been together for years or even decades often tells me how desire faded with time. And listen, the truth is the honeymoon phase is not forever, right? But the flame can be kept alive, my friend. Flirting, touching each other, complimenting each other, saying I love you often, cuddling often, kissing, laughing together. And also try new things, going on dates, having conversations that are not about logistics, taking a shower together, sending sweet texts to each other, being playful, being curious. Sometimes we think intimacy means sex. But listen, a lot of times intimacy begins much earlier. When someone feels fully present with you, when you feel noticed, valued, and emotionally connected. That's often what opens the door to desire. And remember, those little things build love every single day. All right, my friend, let's pause here for a moment and zoom out. If you take nothing else from this episode, let it be this. Love doesn't fall apart because people stop caring. No, it falls apart because people stop communicating, stop choosing each other intentionally, and stop being honest about what they need. Commitment gives love a foundation. Compatibility gives it direction. And presence gives it life. And that spark, the spark doesn't disappear, it transforms. When nurtured, it becomes something deeper, steadier, and more meaningful than butterflies everywhere. And with all this in mind, I want to leave you with this, my friend. Love isn't something you either get right or fail at. It's something you learn over time through presence, honesty, and choice. The spark may bring two people together, but what keeps love alive is the willingness to stay engaged when things are no longer effortless, to speak when it's uncomfortable, to listen when it would be easier to defend, to nurture connection instead of running on autopilot. That's not weakness, that's maturity. And if you are in a relationship right now, this episode is not asking you to be perfect. No, my friend, it's inviting you to be intentional because love doesn't fade overnight. It fades slowly when attention, honesty, and care are replaced by distance and disconnection. But the beautiful thing is this: connection can be rebuilt, intimacy can deepen, relationships can grow stronger when both people are willing to show up. And in our next episode, part 3 in this relationship series, we are going to talk about the other side of love. What happens when love starts to hurt instead of heal? When honesty is missing, when boundaries are crossed, when staying begin to cost you your sense of self. We will talk about toxic relationships, why living is so hard, and why finding your way back to yourself is not only possible, it's powerful. Until then, my friend, take a deep breath. You are allowed to want a love that feels safe, respectful, and real. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to choose yourself without guilt. Remember, your mindset is your true power, and you are worthy of a relationship that honors who you are becoming. Have an awesome week, my dear friend. I'll talk to you soon.